right, so what is up, guys? Jacob, finally back with a brand new The Spotlight is On podcast episode. I'm here with a guest I've been wanting on for a while, I think since I started the podcast back in February. Just introduce yourself and I guess just tell the people pretty much who you are and what you do.
Oh, hi. Well, I'm Becky Woods, also known as Bex or Miss Becky, and I'm the crazy theater lady here in town. I do a lot of community theater. I'm also involved with El Raton Media Works, so getting in on the film side of the artistic endeavors here in town. I've started also doing some visual art. I just entered in some pieces in the contemporary art show at the Old Pass Gallery. So a little bit of everything I do around here.
Yes, so I first want to get into all of the play stuff because that's pretty much what I know you more as than anything. So kind of explain what got you into what got you into I guess drama club or theater, and then I guess your transition into behind the scenes, pretty much on the crew set and prepping and getting these plays put together.
Yeah. I my grandmother and my mother and I all did theater when we were. So my grandmother's been doing theater for a very long time, as long as I've been around. And my first play, I was 14, and I was in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and this is back in Tennessee. So it were three generations of theater, nuts, I guess you would call us, little actresses. And so I started when I was 14. I did some acting, and I immediately did every show I possibly could, doing anything on stage, backstage, so props, hair, makeup, lights, sound, all of the backstage stuff. And then that got me into the drama club at high school, and I did some forensics, prose, and poetry. Made it to state and got third in state when I was in high school. So, and then moving on to college, I did. Um, I got my associate's degree in theater arts at Blinn College in Brenham, Texas, and again learned more and kind of developed my skills there, and won some awards for costuming and acting when I was in college as well. And my plan was to move to Austin and do theater for a living. Of course, waiting tables to pay my bills, because everybody knows that theater is very, very hard to make a living from. So I had no doubt that I would just be a waitress and act and live my dreams. I ended up taking a break for a while. I got married and shifted everything to married life and building our life there and everything. Then we moved here I moved here in 2019, and I moved here in February, and in March were auditions for Mary Poppins. So I auditioned for that, and that was the first show I had done in almost 20 years at that point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I took a huge break. And so now I'm back at it, just doing as much as I can. In 2022, I got to direct my first show, my first full-length production show. In college, I did direct a one-act show that we took to competition. So I've had some directing experience, but my first major show to direct was Bugsy Malone Jr. So for those around town who see me on Facebook as Bugsy Malone, that started because I needed a way to communicate. And so I just kind of took on that persona there. So everyone's like, who's Bugsy? What's that got to do with anything? And it was just a whole thing. But I was supposed to be the choreographer for that show. But Sarah Kowalski had knee surgery, and she asked if I would take over directing as well. So I ended up directing that show, fell in love with directing as well as everything else. So now I'm kind of like the Youth Guild coordinator for Santa Fe Trail School for the Performing Arts. I handle, we have a summer Youth Guild production that I've created a new program based on the program that I did when I was a youth. In that the summer and Christmas show were always Youth Guild shows, and they had a Youth Guild director. So I've brought that program to Raton, and we've had two shows where one of our youth guild members directed the show. And we started out with a full length show 2 years ago, and or last year, and then this year we had two one act shows. So I had two different directors directing, and it's been very nice to kind of delegate and pass that along and pass
Yeah.
that knowledge along so that someone doesn't have to wait until they're in their mid 40s before they direct a show.
Yeah.
They can do that now, and then if they want to take that with them to college, they can say, I've already directed a show,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have more opportunities to do something either in community theater, or if they're doing college courses, then they'll have a better chance of that and moving on and getting more involved and getting the youth involved. Because a lot of us older people, we've been doing it for so long, we love to do it, but it's nice to see the young people get involved and take more ownership of what they're doing. And this year I've been doing a lot of acting. I've been working with Main Street Live. We've been working on some collaboration and trying to get some cross the paths collaborations going, because they have a lot of talent there, we have a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
They have skills and tools that we don't have, we have things that they need. And I believe that the community is theater is a community, and community theater is community, and the more people we can get involved, and the more players, actors, and just people, volunteers involved, has been an amazing opportunity, and I'm very, very grateful for my folks here, the folks there, and everyone who's let me just kind of come and take over things. And they're like, please, do what you want, have fun, and it's just been absolutely wonderful. So
yeah, especially being in the film industry, I love the connection with going from theater to making movies and TV shows. Especially for young talent, because that's where I found most of them. Were from the plays here that you guys put on over the years, and so their transition from a live audience to a camera or a phone was a little bit tricky at first, because they're not getting that instant.
The instant gratification.
Yeah, they're not getting that.
Yeah,
yeah, because they have to wait a while, but it's they're used to it, so it's so easy for them to transition into it. So I'm happy that Raton and Trinidad has a theater where people will kids, adults, whoever can come be a part of it, and then if they want to get into acting or whatever, or film or whatever, then they can make that transition just super easy. So I like that.
Yeah, and partnering with the Schuler as well. A lot of people say, well, you're with the Schuler, right? And I'm like, well, sort of, not really. So the Santa Fe Trail School for the Performing Arts is the community theater. I'm on the board with them. We own the Castillo building where we're filming today, and we have a little thrust theater. We're starting to develop it, and hopefully we can do some more intimate, one-act, mature audience, dinner theater type things here. But the Schuler has just been amazing that they have partnered with us in that when we want to put on full scale productions, they allow us to use their facilities, which has been amazing, because that theater is gorgeous. And anyone who's done live theater, working on a stage like the theater is like the dream and the goal. Because a lot of community theaters have places like this where there's a tiny stage. Even Main Street Live, it was an old department store just like this building, and we just they built a stage there. And while that is intimate and fun, working on a historic proscenium stage is like the dream and the goal for most theater nerds and theater kids, and it's been a lot of fun. And speaking to your going from acting to film, there are many kids now that have grown up on TikTok and filming themselves and working with cameras. And to have them go to live theater is the complete opposite. And it's a very difficult transition for them, because they're not used to having to speak up to the back of the audience and project and actually work with their audience and keep that fourth wall kind of thing, where we're doing this and people are just observing us, and working with the lights and the sound, and just the live theater aspect has been very interesting for some of these kids to have to transition to that. It's been fun to watch too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, my freshman and sophomore year, I was in drama class there, because we had a drama program there at summer schools.
Great.
And so I think it was February or March, we would prepare a play, and then we would submit it to. Well, we would pretty much go to Portales at Eastern at ENMU because they do their drama fest, or they
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to. Yeah,
You
so
won at competitions.
yeah,
and
the
won.
competitions
Yeah.
for so many schools across the state, and so I was a part of that. I didn't act or anything. I don't like acting, but I did like the lights and stuff like that, up above. But it was super cool, you know, working on a play, and then not only getting to show it to my hometown, people in Cimarron, but then also traveling to Portales and competing against so many different schools and places around the state. It was really cool.
Yeah, I will say in school that was one of my favorite parts was the competitions. With forensics, the one-on-one, but then also the group acts and taking something that we did for our school and taking it to competition and seeing what other people were doing, and then also competing was also kind of fun as well.
Yeah, that was always. Oh, and even like in middle school, I know I did one play that I was a part of, and that was a lot of fun too. I didn't have any speaking lines, so I think that's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, and a lot of it, and the great thing about theater is that you don't. Some of us like the spotlight. And some people don't, and then some of us like both. I enjoy doing the lights and sound and set and prop work, and or just moving sets.
Yeah.
Just doing little things backstage. That is just as critical for a show as the actual actors and the stars of the show. And some people, and that's what I like about it. It's same with film as well, is that you can be background.
Yeah.
And background or backstage, as they say in the theater, or crew for film. All of it is just as important. And I know it's a tacky cliche. There's no small parts, only small actors and things like that. But it really is. They don't. It's not a cliche for no reason. It's all critical. If you don't have someone to run your lights, then you've got a show, but no one can see you.
Yeah.
If you don't have a costumer, you're great, but you're up there naked or not looking the part, or little things that'll distract from the show.
Yeah.
And every single role, on stage or off, is just as critical to the success of that show. And that's what I try to teach our kids. And we're working right now mostly with actors on stage, and I'm hoping that developing the youth program, we can get to the point where we have a stage manager. And I do have a youth running our lights and sound. She's been doing it for about 4 years now. And I'm sad because she's about to graduate. So now I'm looking for new people to get into the technical aspect of things. And the Schuler is gracious enough to let us use their light booth and have someone unaccompanied up there running things with all that expensive equipment and stuff. And it's just been a blast to watch these kids grow and develop. And some of them are like, when we go interview with Billy D, and he's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And to hear a kid say, I want to act, or I want to do theater, and knowing that they had never done a show until I did a show with them, I take a small amount of pride in instilling that in them. Because even if they don't do it professionally or forever, theater is really important for growing and developing as a person, because you have to learn cooperation with others. You have to learn communication skills. It's about reliability. It's about responsibility, showing up on time, being prepared. It improves your communication skills. So even if you just do one show one time in your life, you're going to use those skills in the future in whatever job that you do.
Yeah.
Even if it's just communicating with your family, or even if you don't have a professional life, things that you learn in the theater are life skills that you can use in any aspect of your life.
Yeah, and that it's the same way with filmmaking too. Every role, whether you're on crew or whether you're an actor or whatever, even like the smallest part, if you have one line, you still add to the film. That little interaction with the main character or whatever, it still adds to it. The progression of the story from start to finish.
Right.
So that's what I've been telling my actors, and I've been having some of them the last couple of years saying that that they want to do more acting now, and they want to do background stuff, because I try to not only I try to give them freedom to, I guess, work on their characters, right? So if the writing in the script isn't the best that I write, I'm saying you can improv and make it better, and then they kind of just transition and they start writing their own scripts or whatever, and so that's really cool to see too.
Yeah, it's very generous of you as a director, because some directors won't. And with film, you have a little more leeway, whereas with with theatrical productions, we have copyright issues that we have to deal with. And there are some production companies that say you cannot change a single word in this script.
Yeah.
Right? And some directors are very, very hardcore about that, and wanting people to learn the lines as they are written, because that's how the writer wrote them in that order, in this way, for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
And if he wanted us to say it a different way, we would. Whereas other directors are like, yeah, as long as we get the gist of the story, we're fine with that, not a problem. And you'll come across different types of directors. So as a director, that's very generous of you to allow your actors to take liberties with your, especially if you're writing the script, right?
Yeah.
Because as long as your gist is getting across, that's great. But if you have a writer who's like, no, we are only doing the words that I wrote, then you get into some like prickly situations with things like that. And with theater, sometimes you only have so many people to audition. And you're like, okay, we're already doing this play. We can't change the play that we're doing.
Yeah.
So you have to make some tweaks as far as the gender or the relationship of certain characters and things like that. So theater, we kind of take liberties at times, but we try, many of us do try very hard to stay true to the script and what the author has written. But it's handy that the director is also the writer, because then you can ask the writer, hey, writer, can we change this?
Yeah.
Hey, director, yeah, okay, and you just ask yourself.
Yeah, so like over the past summer, June, July, somewhere around there, I was a part of a big project that was going on in Albuquerque. I can't say much about it right now, but I was a background extra for that, and so stepping onto a actual professional set for the first time and seeing how the professionals do it, it was crazy. There was a lot of people, and there was multiple people telling us where to stand, how to stand. Like they were very, very what's the word? They were not much freedom. Like
very
how
precise.
Like it wasn't like how I am with my extras. Like like if something isn't right, it's whatever, right? It's just a low budget short film.
Yeah.
But being there with a crew of I think like 100+ people, it was very different because there was the director, there was the writer, and they were making changes and stuff like that throughout the time I was there, because I was there for 6 hours.
Oh yeah.
And so it was a lot, but it was very cool just being on a professional set for the first time and kind of learning.
Yeah. And I've heard they do a lot of like rewrites on the scene.
A lot.
A lot, and so you're like, here, and especially with like TV shows, they're like, here's your lines for today. So from an actor's point of view, working in film and TV, you have to be, there's not a lot of prep, whereas with theater, it's usually 6 weeks of rehearsal, so you're doing the exact same thing every time for 6 weeks, whereas film and TV and other media, it could change moment to moment. You're like, okay, we've got the rewrite, here's your new script for tonight, and everything you just learned, throw it out the window. Or the lighting, or, well, we planned on doing this outdoors, but now it's raining, so we're going to have to change a bunch of things. And the precision, a lot of times I've noticed, has to do with your lighting and your sound and things like that. And as a director on stage, I can be pretty precise too. It's like, I want you in this position facing this direction, because I'm looking at it kind of like from a film point of view also, in that I see this is what people are going to see. This is the scene that I want to create. And if you're 2 inches this way, it throws off the vibe and it throws off the feeling of what I'm trying to convey by setting you up in this manner.
Yeah.
And as a director, I'm pretty precise about where I want you to go. It's rare that I'll just say, oh, just do what you want and walk around.
Yeah.
Now, it just depends on the actor. But working with young people, it's very, very important that they follow direction, and learning to follow direction and taking direction and understanding lighting and volume and sound and things like that. So with the young kids, I'm more direct. With my older people who know what they're doing, people who've directed before, I would give more leeway and things like that for sure. Yeah, because again, it all just depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what is the purpose and what feeling or emotion are you trying to convey
Mhm.
in this particular scene?
Yeah. So from I guess this is a good segue to move into filmmaking now. You are a part of Our Media Works. I saw on the website you were the board president.
I am the board president.
Yeah.
I'm the
So
face of El Raton Media Works.
I want to ask you what got you involved with Our Media Works and just everything you've done with them so far and what you've helped with.
Oh wow. So it was kind of random, and I met some of the people who were involved. I knew some of the board members just as friends, and then I found out that the whole thing was being put together. And then they had some changes, and they had a position open on the board. And they said, "Have you had any experience being on a board or dealing with film and media?" And I said, "Well, most of my experience is theatrical."
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Well, having a theatrical education director would be great."
Yeah.
Because those are skills that I can bring to them. Because El Raton Media Works, what we are passionate about is engaging the local community and especially finding productive things for the youth to do. So our main project right now, the Kearney Elementary School that was closed down, I believe in 2015. I could be wrong about the dates, but it was recently closed within the past decade or so. And it's an old school that was built in the 30s as part of the Depression era reworking, revamping of America. So they built this school. It's a great old school. They've added on to it over the years. Then they have closed it down. So we're partnering with the city to create a workforce training center, a film and media workforce training center, and an XR studio. So included in that would be classes and skills that need to be taught. And a lot of the skills that we use for theater are 100% applicable to film and media. So they kind of brought me on as like a subject matter expert for theater things, plus my already involvement with Santa Fe Trail School for the Performing Arts, my being on the board there, my connections there, the things that I can, networking is important in theater. With film especially.
Yeah.
If you don't know someone, you're not necessarily going to get in.
Yeah, with me moving right now, the Albuquerque, I'm meeting a lot of the right people that I need to be meeting right now.
Yeah.
So once I'm down there, I finally get to connect with them, have them on the podcast eventually, and to see where everything goes from there. But yeah, no, networking is the number one thing if you want to get anywhere really.
Yeah.
You have to know the right
So
people.
they kind of brought me on as a networking theatrical subject matter expert, and then they had some changes to the board membership, and I got voted on as the president. So now I kind of represent at events and meetings. I will 100% let you know I'm not a film expert. I have not been making films since I was a young kid, like a lot of people have. And back in the day with Super 8s, or even now with your iPhone, you can make a whole movie on your phone and produce it and have it, done. I think you do all of your stuff on.
Yeah, all my stuff's on my phone.
Yeah. See, I mean, you're a filmmaker with a phone. And I'm like way older than you, so I'm used to like video and developing and splicing and cutting and doing all of that stuff. So it's been, so I'm not an expert, and I'll be the first to admit that. But what I can bring is the ability to communicate, the ability to network, the ability to represent this entity in the places that it matters, and to help them coordinate this effort that they're trying to do to get Kearney up and running. And we're this close. I believe that we're going to be doing a groundbreaking shortly. Hopefully construction will start soon. And of course, the project started 4 or 5 years ago, and since that time, we had the whole COVID thing that knocked us back a year and doubled the cost of everything. So we had a really good budget. We had a really good proposal. We earned some really good grants from federal, state, and local entities, and we had a nice chunk of change. And we were ready to get started. But then the cost of everything doubled. And then leadership changed within the city, and leadership changed within our board as well. So that just complicated things, drug everything out. We finally got into the design phase. of the project. And since that time, the economy has changed, politics have changed, policies have
Yeah.
changed, so much has changed, even just in the past 18 months, that our costs are now twice what they were. And so our costs have gone from this to now this.
Yeah.
So what we had dreamed of doing has had to be severely scaled back.
Mhm.
And it's very pointing, and we as a group are disappointed that we can't do it all at once.
Yeah.
But we are still moving forward,
Mhm.
and this dream will become a reality. It's just going to take longer, and we're going to need a lot more investors. So
Yeah.
if you know anybody out there who's looking to invest in a project, and the reason why we're doing it here is because Denver has very little film stuff going on. The tax incentives for filmmaking in Colorado are not as good as they are in New Mexico.
Mhm.
Anybody who knows anything about film knows that New Mexico has a rich history in filmmaking. And so this is a great opportunity. And Netflix was the only, I would say, so The Mandalorian was filmed on an XR
Yeah.
studio. And that's where the idea came, because there was only one studio. Well, now Netflix is branching out, and the time has, we were at the cutting edge. Now we're just trying to like keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
Because of budget, and it all boils down to money and financing and producing. So if
Mhm.
anybody wants to get in on this, let us know, because what we're trying to do is draw some of that, because like you're having to move
Yeah.
to Albuquerque
Mhm.
to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And if we could have a film hub here, there are so many people in a 250-mile radius,
Mhm.
as far away as Amarillo, Texas, or which one is closer, Abilene or Amarillo? One of the two. But anyway, and Denver and Albuquerque, and
Mhm.
we're so rural that the New Mexico film incentive is like 35-40% to film outside of Santa Fe and Albuquerque and Las Cruces and all those other places. And it's halfway between. And it's actually a really great place to film, but everyone's like, oh, it's so far away, but not really.
Mhm.
You know, it's if we can make this a central hub and get in on some of the outdoorsy locations and all the historical places.
Yeah.
That mean Cimarron, you know,
Mhm.
the St. James Motel and all that. Las Vegas is cashing in on it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going on in Vegas right now with filming. I know there's a studio down there too that they have now, and so it's they're just expanding across the state everywhere.
Yeah, so if they can do it in Las Vegas, which is bigger than our town,
Mhm.
yes, I understand. But it's feasible here too.
Yeah.
We just have to get people over the that's so far mentality. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people are homebodies and they're like, well, I could just do it in Albuquerque because they have everything.
Yeah.
Well, if we can get started here, then we can develop everything here, which will develop this town, this community, this area of rural northeastern New Mexico.
Mhm.
We can increase the amount of people staying and using our hotels.
Yeah.
Restoring some of these old hotels, more restaurants, more craft services, more construction work, electricians.
Mhm.
All of the skills that you use to make a film can be applicable to real life, just like with theater
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
And it's really exciting to be part of this. And,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited to see where this will go and how big this town could be. Because we've had major industries here.
Yeah.
Over the years,
Mhm.
and they've all come and collapsed, and all come and collapsed. Well, the theater and the film industry in New Mexico has been consistent.
Mhm.
And we're just trying to expand that to a different area. And if you come from, for all the people who are from Texas, you will understand that Austin to Dallas is just down the road. But everywhere else in the country, a 3-hour drive is, that's like half a day. How
Yeah.
are we going to do that? Well, in big places where it takes 7 hours just to get out of Texas.
Mhm.
Driving a couple hours is no big deal. So we're trying to open people's mind and get them past the numbers and the time that it takes. And if we have those resources and all of the things that are in Albuquerque or Santa Fe or Las Cruces or Taos,
Mhm.
if we can bring those things here, not only does that keep our locals here employed, it keeps our kids here
Mhm.
so that they don't have to go to those major industries or places. It keeps the tax money here. It grows the town, and Raton could be a big thing again.
Yeah, this past summer when I was filming my last short film, You're Not My Mother, I casted a lot of local people here, whether they're from Raton or Maxwell or Springer or whatever, not too far driving because we were filming in Maxwell.
Yeah.
I was casting, I casted a few, I guess, not well-known actors, but I guess sort of well-known that have been in big projects, and they're from Albuquerque, and they're down the drive the 3 hours, to come here
Nice.
and be a part of my films, and I
That's
know.
exciting.
It didn't end up happening sadly because of scheduling conflicts with them. But the fact,
scheduling is the worst.
yeah, but the fact that they were,
They
they were willing to, make the travel, and like even one of my actors that's about to be a part of my next production next week, he's coming from Farmington.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
a drive.
and so he's coming down for a day of filming, and he's been telling me he loved Raton and stuff like that, and so that's what I was trying to do the last few years is bring more people in.
Yeah.
But now everything's changing and I'm going up there.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping.
You gotta go where the money is.
Yeah.
Right now.
I'm hoping the next time I'm back here, you guys are up and running and you guys are.
Or at least doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now we do a lot of community projects, and we do have some media work that we're doing, some productions. We're not really a production company. And I think a lot of people think that, oh, we're film people, we'll produce things. Yeah, we will, and we have no problem doing that. And we have people, we have skills. What we really want to do is develop a workforce within this area.
Yeah.
So that when people come from Farmington, they'll want to come and make movies here.
Yeah.
There'll be an editing studio where they can edit their stuff, and they don't have to just come and use it just for location filming.
Yeah.
That there actually will be the resources that they can actually do a film start to finish with what we have here in town or in the nearby region, which is important so that you don't have to go back to Albuquerque just to edit your film or do post-production. You can do post-production work here or do voiceover work here and things like that, things that people can make money off of and use and be productive and creative, but also in the end it's all about the dollar in for a lot of people and for a lot of things. And so if we can bring an industry to this area, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and I've seen, over the past few years, you guys have been doing Film Prize Junior here.
Oh, yes.
And you guys have made a whole bunch of short films in which I've casted a lot of your guys' talent in my films over the years, and so it's been super cool.
And a lot of them started on the stage with me. The first time they ever acted was on stage with some shows that we did here.
Yeah, so what has been your involvement with Film Prize Junior and all that?
I have not actually had much in direct involvement with Film Prize Junior. I will say Ann Tice is the queen of El Raton Media Works. She's our executive director. She is the heart and soul of this group, and she is what is driving her and her husband Jose. They're the experts. She's also teaching a dual credit course up at the high school also. So I encourage anyone who wants to see what it's all about and just get some hands-on experience, take the course at the high school. You get credit for high school and college. It's different. It's not like everything else. It's very, very small. She has a class usually of 3 to 4 students. So it's definitely more one-on-one, and you're not going to get lost in the crowd. Like if you just go to University of New Mexico and oh, I'm going to do film. You're like one of how many hundreds who could be enrolled in that program.
Yeah.
But starting here at the high school, it allows them to get some hands-on experience, directing, acting, working with the camera, learning all those things. So I've been more of a support role for Film Prize Junior. And this is it was actually Film Prize Junior that got me involved with El Raton Media Works. Now that you remind me, someone told them that I do hair and makeup, and they needed it was what's his name's I'm terrible with names. What Ramon.
Potential?
Yes.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he needed someone to do makeup for a bruise. And and someone reached out to me and said, hey, someone said you do hair and makeup. Would you be willing? And I was like, absolutely. And so I just showed up with my makeup kit, and we did a bruise. We filmed it. I got to watch the whole thing, and I have several houses here in town. I've been blessed and lucky to have been able to buy some very nice properties here. And so I was like, yeah, and I've got a house if you want to film there.
Yeah.
So they filmed in the house. I did the hair and makeup. And then they're like, yeah. And then eventually I ended up at being asked to join the board. And so most of what I've done for Film Prize Junior has just been support. So hair and makeup on one, film locations for all 3 years that they've been doing it. They filmed at all 3 of my houses now. And then silly things like props or costumes or things like that. So supporting any way I can is what I do. I'm just here to help. Whatever you need, if I can do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, with your guys' film mixer back in April, where I sold my film at, I saw some of the great Film Prize Junior projects that you guys made, and I think they won a few awards at the event.
They did. They swept this year. So there's a middle school and a high school division, and there's different categories. And this past year, the middle school submission won the Judges Award for Best Sci-Fi. So out of all the submissions through the entire state, the judges awarded the middle school the best sci-fi film, which was incredible.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's like basically viewer's choice, where you go online and you vote. And both our high school and junior high entries won the statewide popularity vote. So we won 3 awards for the 2 shows that they or the 2 films that they entered.
That's super cool.
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's just fabulous.
Out of so many places in the state, it's probably hundreds, thousands of.
Yeah, and we're talking like schools that are devoted to the fine arts.
Yeah.
That's all they do is film and theater. And our little led by Anne group of kids after school project filmed in our houses, with moms doing craft services and stuff. They won. And that is exciting. And every year they're getting better. Every year we're getting more kids involved. Every year it's just we're just building upon the successes of last year. And if you hear, oh, they won an award, well, I want to kind of get in on something. Maybe we can win an award too. Because there's one thing to participate, but and that's why I'm saying the competitions, it kind of like, it feeds the ego. Because if you're in film and theater, you have a certain amount of ego that other people don't. And as someone who has that, I admit that freely. Yes, my ego is huge, but I'm also very self-conscious, and you will find that too, that we have huge egos, but we're very, very self-critical and very self-conscious. So the competitions kind of give that feedback, especially for film, because you don't get the feedback of the audience right then and there applauding. And so to have people, strangers, vote for your film, complete strangers vote for it and end up winning, that's a huge ego boost and a confidence builder. More than an ego boost, it's a confidence builder, because if you can build confidence, then you can handle any project that you have in life, in work, in your family, in your personal interactions. It just all flows together, as you know.
Yeah, like with my films, with me casting people that have been a part of, the plays here in town, and also, Film Prize Junior with our Media worked over the years. I've been having people, at my job, at the grocery store in Simone, and this out in public, before my films would come out, saying, "Oh, you casted this person in your film. I saw them, when they did the stuff with our Media Works."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's super cool. So it kind of, gets that person knowing about you guys, and then also, checking out my film or whatever, my projects.
Yeah, I've seen Ramon in several of your films now. Yeah. After that Phil Price Jr. one that you've done, I've seen you cast him. And a lot of people that are in your shows I've worked with here on stage. It's great.
Christiana.
Yeah.
She's the main lead of my next film here that we start filming next week. So it's super exciting about that.
And she likes writing.
Yes.
Also, which is really exciting, because some people only pigeonhole themselves. And I like to see the young people, well, anybody, I like to see them doing a variety of things and doing what they love. And how can I add what I like and turn that into what I love? Or can I do what I love and then bring in other aspects of things that I enjoy doing? Because I like sewing and doing costumes. So doing the costumes for film and theater is interesting, because it brings in a tactile or a visual arts aspect to thing as well.
Yeah, like with the move to Albuquerque that I'm making in about a month from now, I've been noticing it's very competitive over there because there's thousands of people in the film industry. Most of them are actors or actresses that are trying to make it big or whatever. With me not wanting to be in front of the camera, wanting to be more behind the camera, I've noticed it's been more easier for me to get connected to the right people in the industry because I'm not like every other actor that's moving there.
Yeah, and to be an actor in those large environments or large communities, you really have to have a shtick or something that sets you apart from everyone else because there's so many to choose from. And it's like, okay, I need a redheaded actor, and 30 people show up.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I need a redheaded actor. There's maybe like 4 of us, that are actually, and it's yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so I've been noticing that, I made a post on Facebook and a few of the New Mexico film Facebook groups that I'm a part of now. Yeah, and so I've been having so many people, wanting to work with me now, and it's like it's a lot of people, and so, when I do start, because I do want to continue making my own projects there, I don't want to just, stop
do other people's stuff.
Stop, give that up. I still want to make my own stuff and then do the big stuff or whatever. So it is really cool, transitioning from this little area to now the city, and a lot of these people are aware of me because of my films that I made here, and they're aware of this area a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're definitely glad to know you, and we're excited for you, and that's why we show so much love when we have our little film festivals, and we're like, well, what's Jacob bringing? What's he bringing this time? Is it going to be new? Is it going to be different? And it's very, very exciting to see how you have progressed as a director and a writer and a filmmaker, and to see your progress and to see you just consistently like churning out new stuff all the time.
Yeah,
really
that's what a
exciting.
lot of the film people there in the city have been telling me recently is that I think I'm on my 4th short film now. I've started last February making my first one, so year and a half straight is grinding.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Yeah. Well, and from a theater's perspective, I've done like and if you count between theater and film, there was times this year where I was involved with 5 different projects at once, which is spreading thin. But if you just do a little bit and not just be like the main in those things, then you can do multiple things at once. And I like to do a little bit of everything and try to be involved. But we like knowing you because that helps us with our networking as well.
Yeah.
And then that hopefully you can bring some of those people here once we have those things ready and available for them. Or if we need to bring our message down there, we have someone already there that can help spread the word about what we're doing up here.
Yeah, and I just got in contact yesterday with the top casting agent in the state for all major films, television, animation productions, that Netflix does, Hulu, that, these big companies that come to New Mexico and film stuff. I got in touch with the main person that's, in charge of everything casting. And surprised she grew up in Cimarron.
Really?
And she's known me and my family, her whole life. So she's known me since I was like a baby.
Wow.
And so she's been following my film career, and I guess just hiding, secretly watching me over the last year and a half without me even knowing.
Yeah.
And so, having that connection, so I want to hopefully bring her back to this area once you guys are, up
Bring
and running.
her up now.
Yeah.
And we need to establish these before we're up and running.
Yeah.
Because when we're up and running, it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
We need people involved now so that they can be involved before we open our doors, so that when we're ready to open those doors, we already have instructors. We already have the equipment that we need. We already have a curriculum set up and the ability to open the doors and hit the ground running. So we encourage you to spread the word, tell people about us, share what we're doing, and we welcome visitors. Anne and Jose are amazing, and they know so much more than I do. Like I said, I'm just the spokesperson.
Yeah.
I'm the spokesmodel. I can get up there and read the pretty script and tell people what we're about, but they're the ones with the true passion for the project.
Yeah.
and they can go into far more detail. And so the more we can get people involved and the more people we can let know what's going on and get them involved now in the opening stages of the project, the better off the project will be in the end.
Yeah, 'cause when I was there in July doing background work, I was asking people, are you guys, from Albuquerque? And they're like, yeah. And they're asking me, where I'm from. And I was like, oh, I'm from Cimarron. And they just kind of gave me a, like a weird, confused look. Like, I don't know where that is. And I was like, oh, I traveled 3 hours, just to get to Albuquerque for this. I know I made a lot of the crew people, I guess the important people, they're, I guess I'm very reliable just because I travel. I think I was the only one there out of the 40, 50 background extras that got chosen that came from
If I didn't
not
have
there.
a full-time job, I would be down in Albuquerque doing background work like every other day. Because I see it come across my feed as well, and I'm like, oh, I want to.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot
working
of stuff going on
full-time
right now.
does prohibit that.
Mhm.
And again, it's all about the Benjamins. It's hard to make a living in this industry, theater or film. It's very difficult, and you have to be 100% dedicated to it.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to sleep on couches and eat ramen and travel 3.5 hours to stand around as a background actor.
Yeah, like
A lot of people are.
yeah, so I didn't find out I got booked for that project until the day before.
Oh, no.
And luckily I worked that morning, so I was able to go over and I got off work that evening. Because you're needed on set at 6:30 in the morning that next day, and so even before you step foot on set, they're very delayed with telling people stuff and sending people stuff. So they sent us a whole bunch of paperwork we had to sign 30 minutes before we were supposed to be on set filming, and you couldn't enter set without
you
sign all that paperwork. And so it was a lot. But I think the decision for me to want to go to Albuquerque came last month because I got booked again for a different project. Well, I guess I can talk about that one because I didn't sign in anything. So I got booked for Amazon Prime project for that, and so I was supposed to be a background extra for that, but I didn't know I got booked until 10:30, 11 p.m. the night before. And so I was needed on set at 6:30. I got all my paperwork, sent. I got my NDA. If I got everything just sent to me already. Once I got the email saying I was booked, and I really wanted to go because I didn't want to ruin my chances or anything, right? And I would have had to leave Cimarron at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. I had work that next day too, and so I was just trying to figure out who would fill in for me and stuff like that. And it did suck having to cancel that booking because the more times you do cancel bookings from there, they're not gonna use you. And so I was like, I have to go up there, if I want to continue going on with my dreams and all that. Because at first I thought I would be able to juggle everything, go back and forth from Cimarron to Albuquerque.
Yeah, that's why I'm not even trying.
Yeah, and
yeah,
and then I was like, oh yeah, it's not gonna work. So I am happy, to be going up there and being a part of the, I guess everyone's saying Hollywood 2.0 now is what they're calling New Mexico.
Oh, I love that.
It's Hollywood 2.0 because so much stuff is being filmed right now there. I think there's like 4 or 5 projects that are going on right now.
Oh yeah, and there's like major. Well, Breaking Bad kind of like opened it up. The popularity of that show has really opened up New Mexico in ways that prior to that it was mostly large screen filmmaking. And a few TV series, but now there's many TV series that are being filmed here. Which is exciting.
I know Ransom Canyon season 2.
That's
they start production, or I think they started a couple days ago. But I went to
had a casting call for that.
Yeah, I went to that one in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was there for maybe 2 minutes, and then I was out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I traveled an hour and a half to get to Vegas just to be there for 2 minutes.
Exactly.
But it's better to be there in person, and them actually getting to see you and stuff like that. And they were impressed, that I drove an hour and a half to get
That's
there.
dedication.
So
yeah, and that's the love that we have for this industry is that we are willing to drive an hour and a half just to be a background actor.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And that's why we want Raton to kind of be a centralized hub for that. So that hopefully some of the Las Vegas, we can, piggyback off of their success. And then bring some stuff down from Colorado as well. Because there's a lot of filmmakers in Colorado, but there's not a big film industry out there. And with as many universities as we have within a 200-mile radius, there are so many opportunities for people to do film. And we're hoping to make this kind of like a rural hub. So it'd be like Hollywood 2.2.
Yeah.
Just a subset of the larger thing.
Yeah, I think it's great, that New Mexico is becoming, more and more over the years bigger with film productions and television and stuff like that. And it gives a lot of people opportunities that do want to get into, filmmaking a chance because, it's you either drive a few hours or you're there in the city already. So I think it's really cool that New Mexico has become a big film area, and so I'm hoping that it just keeps growing over the years.
So too.
But so before I do end this, because we're like almost an hour now, which is like
my goodness, have we really been talking for an hour?
It's been like 51 minutes. That's
my
like
goodness. Well, you're so easy to talk to.
That'll probably be like my longest video ever.
Oh,
yeah.
Shocking.
So before
normally I don't talk. Well, I do talk once you get me started, but yeah.
Yeah. So the last question I want to ask you is what I asked all my guests: or what are 3 things that you're grateful for?
Oh my goodness. I am grateful for everything. I know that's a terrible answer, but so many people take everything for granted and they want more. And I'm one of those. I'm satisfied that I have a roof over my head, or I'm grateful for my friends and family, and I'm grateful for community. This community has been really, really positive for me as a human being, to be able to work with people artistically and get to know them as people. And I practice gratitude in everything I do. I'm just essentially grateful. Worst day of my life, I'm grateful that I learned something today about myself, or was able to accomplish something. And I find gratitude and satisfaction in just the smallest things in life. I don't think I can list 3 things that I'm necessarily grateful for, because I'm grateful for every single thing that comes my way. I'm grateful for this opportunity to get to know you and to share with people a little bit about who I am and what we're doing here. And yeah, I think community would be like number 1, and then all the other little things that go along with it. So.
Yeah, thank you, Beki, for being a part of it, and I was happy I finally got to have you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Very excited. Thank you so very much.